Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Coloring and Comments, a channel where I color in mandalas and talk to you about various topics that are on my mind. It's finally the festive season, so happy holidays. Today we'll be talking about how exactly you can protect or safeguard your mental health during this time. We all know that 2021 has been a long, long year for most of us. And as we approach Christmas, there's this collective sigh of relief because it's like we can finally rest. Because the holidays are synonymous with happiness, peace, relaxation. But then as the holidays roll around, you realize that sometimes this is not how you always feel, or not how you're feeling at the moment. And this is because the holidays come with a lot of stresses. There's this financial pressure to go on these luxurious holidays and buy these fancy gifts for family. There's increased anxiety because now you have to see that family member that you've been avoiding the entire year. But more than anything, at least for me, is that there's this pressure to prove that you have achieved something during the year that makes you deserving of a holiday. I don't know if that makes sense. But whatever the pressure or the stressor is for you, it is important for you to find ways to protect or safeguard your mental health. Because the impact of that stressor lasts far beyond the period that is the festive season. So in today's video, we'll look at 5 ways that I use and hopefully you may find useful to protect your mental health during this time. The first one is acknowledge your feelings. Before you can do anything, it is important to acknowledge how exactly you're feeling. It's important to put a label on the fact that you might be feeling sad or anxious or even scared. And knowing that whatever you're feeling is perfectly normal, even if it goes against what is normally expected for one to feel during this time. You can't force yourself to be happy because that does a disservice to yourself. I know that for me, I find it very hard to be excited and happy during the festive season because I find it very difficult to slow down. I find it very difficult to relax because I constantly want to do something. So I now know that I'm the type that might feel a bit down during the holidays because of this, and feel down because I do not want to engage in activities with people that feel a different way because I don't want to make them feel bad because I'm feeling down, if that makes sense. But we'll talk about that more in tip number 3. But it's important to acknowledge your feelings. And after you acknowledge your feelings, it goes into number 2, which is reach out for help. Don't be ashamed to speak to someone about how you're feeling. You can reach out to family or friends and express these emotions that at times can be confusing, especially during the holidays. But if you feel like you can't talk to family, you can't talk to friends, there are a variety of online communities and websites that you can visit that create spaces for people to express themselves. One of the communities that I really appreciate is the Beyond Blue Facebook community page, because people there are extremely honest with their emotions. They are extremely respectful of the emotions of others, and they create and hold space when you need it. There's also a website called The Mighty, and on the Mighty site, it's basically a site where people with various illnesses, more emphasis being placed on mental illness, can share their stories and experiences on how it feels like to live with this illness. I've also shared a couple of my stories on the site, and it's a great site because you again see that you're not the only one that might not like the holidays, or you're not the only one that might feel scared or lonely or even depressed during this time of year. And I'll make sure to link both sites down in the description box below. Number 3 is be honest with yourself. I mean, things change. Families grow, people move, the relationships in the dynamics in our relationships may change, may shift. Therefore, the way you celebrated or the way you looked at holidays 5 years ago may not be the same way you look at holidays now. And you have to give yourself the space and the grace to find new traditions that can bring you joy. So like I said earlier, I find holidays extremely difficult. I used to love holidays when I was a child, but as I grew older, and as I've mentioned in past videos, the notion of thinking that you need to be perfect has put a lot of pressure in always performing, and switching that off for a period of 2 or 3 weeks in December is extremely hard for me. But I'm finding ways to allow myself to rest, which is really important for everyone. Number 4, please stick to your budget, because finances go beyond December, okay? Before you start spending, before you start buying gifts, before you go crazy, sit down and create a budget. Look at what you need, what you want, and what you can afford to spend. And once you figure all that out, then you can leave for the shops. And don't spend recklessly, because there's this, especially when you're feeling down, there's this thing of you're trying to buy things in hopes that it'll make you feel better, it'll make you feel happier, but in most cases it doesn't. So sticking to your budget is so important, because it minimizes the stress that might occur come January, when a lot of people face a lot of tricky financial situations, if I can put it like that. So please create a budget and stick to it. The 5th thing, the last thing on our list, is it's okay to say no. I know saying no is really difficult, especially when it comes to saying no to those we love. But we have to say no in order to protect our peace. If you don't want to go to an event, don't go. If you don't want to work overtime for a colleague, don't work the overtime, right? Say no, create those boundaries. Because by saying no, you're creating healthy boundaries that give you space to grow into the best version of yourself. So I know the holidays can be tricky, but please remember, more than anything, to prioritize your well-being. And we've come to the end of this video, so make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. May your day be colorful and wonderful, and happy holidays to both you and your family. See you in 2022, which we hope will be better than 2020 and 2021. Okay.